Sometimes being bad just feels too good, and in the case of today's list of anime, being bad isn't too far off from doing the good thing. Number 10. Rumbling into our list, we have Attack on Titan. A generational anime, the final stretch of this series saw the rise of Eren Jaeger, who wanted to wipe out all of humanity that was not an Eldian. A very non-shonen-like character change, but we all can agree that genocide is definitely closer to villainous than heroic. Nevertheless, we went through too many darn episodes and seasons following the growth of our hero Eren. If he wasn't going to get the ending fans think he deserves, then you can bet outrage that rivals even the Rumbling would spring forth.
毎日空か雲を見て過ごしてたっけ。あの時お前の話を聞いてお前の目を見るまでは。
All that aside though, with evil comes badassery, and no one can really deny that Eren's switch from bratty kid to edgy bad boy is as cool as any. And while the final arc only ramps up every episode, it's when Eren initially declares war on Marley that Eren reaches his cool villain peak. Though many are killed, we can't help but feel this is just the comeuppance of Marley after everything that's happened throughout the series. With how many times Attack on Titan has shown itself as an almost horror-esque experience, there's just something sweet about seeing our favorite characters annihilate some fools.
エレン、どうしたの？震えて。怖いの？
怖くねえし。
Number 9.
口の利き方とかも全く。
気が散る。黙れ。殺すぞ。
Evolving into our list, we have Hunter x Hunter. The Chimera Ant arc is one of the most controversial arcs in all of shonen, though no one who's gone through it can say many bad things about Meruem and Komugi. The king of the Chimera Ants, Meruem, was shaking up to be the strongest character in the entire Hunter x Hunter universe. Thankfully for us fans, he ended up being just that, coming at a great cost to be taken down. All action aside though, his relationship with Komugi throughout the arc is easily one of the more heart-touching throughout the series. From the beginning to the end of their time together, fans couldn't help but empathize and humanize Meruem, despite his overwhelming power. While many beloved characters saw their end in this long arc, it was still very hard to celebrate the end as many tears were blocking the view. You see, despite the battles, in the end, Meruem simply went back to Komugi to play one last game together. As the credits roll and their conversation slowly dies out, you can't help but detest the reality of how everything panned out. It wasn't always an easy watch, but the Chimera Ant arc is definitely a journey hard to forget.
おやすみなさい。メルエム。私もすぐ行きますから。
Number 8.
現在ナザリック地下大墳墓は原因不明の事態に巻き込まれている。
Hailing next up on our list, we have Overlord. Overlord is the premier anime to enjoy when you just want a change of pace from all the goody two-shoe shows out there. And while it is hard to root for Ainz and his army of evil, there's no better moment than near the end of Season 4 to see why evil isn't all that bad. As Ainz was starting to run through the entirety of the kingdom's capital, Esdeath, the previously looked down upon Prince Zanuck showed himself to be a real Chadman. Appearing initially as one of those conniving characters who are out for their own greed, he ends up showing the most honor as a member of royalty, speaking one-on-one with Ainz for negotiations.
拾うという。つまり一言で言えば、それは私を殺すことのできる武器という。
Although this itself didn't bear any fruit, Ainz himself couldn't help but grow in his respect for the prince. All was turning up to be a pretty epic last stand battle. That is, until Zanuck returned to his tent and was attacked by his fellow nobles. His severed head was given to Ainz as a sort of offering for mercy. Naturally, just as how disgusted we were as viewers, Ainz was not having it. Feigning mercy, he shows them the way to his most diabolical torturer. Riestes as well was not spared for its part in raising flawed nobility, as Ainz gave the task of invasion to some of his best subordinates. I guess the valuable lesson we learned here is all hail the Sorcerer King.
従っておけ。さて、これで王国は完全に滅びるわけだが。
Number 7.
ねえお願い答えて。
バカが今頃気づいたのか。自分たちが利用されていることに。貴様らが共に。
Commanding in our next spot, we have Code Geass. Throughout the entire show, really, Lelouch is a bona fide terrorist entity, even building up his own military. Naturally, as we do see most of the series from the point of view of Lelouch, we can't help but root for our smart little Geass user as he tries to take control of every situation. That being said, I can definitely say the desire for a Lelouch win definitely peaks by the end of the series. With every loss and mistake he's made throughout the show,
殺させない。絶対に。こんな広範囲でギアスを。ゴロ。これ以上お前の心臓が。
it's hard not to have a smile as everything falls into place by the end. Of course, this also happens to be his most villainous phase, as he literally plays the role of a villain. All part of the plan, though, as all this is necessary to truly reach peace and order that he himself has costed the world in previous occasions. A true moment of recompense, Lelouch shows us that you can still achieve good while doing some bad things.
さよなら、ルルーシュ。
構え。彼、君は生きろ。
Number 6.
誘いに乗らなかったか。残念だ。新しい拷問を試したかったのだが。あ、これうまいな。任務が終わったら、あいつらにも食わせてやるかな。
Cutting into our list, we have Akame ga Kill. An anime filled with violence and tragedy, between the Jaegers and the Night Raiders there wasn't much heroics going on. That being said, Esdeath and the Jaegers are definitely the antagonistic force in the series. And though many of them do a number to our favorite characters, no true fan of the series can deny just how great Esdeath is. She's just a lady seeking love, after all. A true villain you wish would just turn a new leaf and live happily ever after with our man Tatsumi. But even as that happy ending is never to be, many fans would agree that she's one hot mommy.
好きでなければこういうことはしないな。
なら。
You just have to overlook her psychopathic tendencies. Though, let's be honest, that's just more icing for the cake.
二人きりでな。
何がどうな。
How are you enjoying the evil route so far? If you love it, then consider leaving a super thanks for this video. But hey, if not, you can still leave a like, subscribe, and share. It'll be a giant help for our master plans for the channel. But in any case, what's your favorite villain moment in anime? I know it's a bit of a guilty pleasure, but there's no judgment here. Comment down below. We'd love to hear it. Number 5.
どうした？次に死にたいもの前へ出よ。ブリタニア王が自ら切って死んでようぞ。
Sailing into the list, we have Vinland Saga. As the man to kickstart the Vinland Saga series by slaying the father of the MC, it was difficult to imagine a kind end for the Viking lad Askeladd. For the better part of the anime, Thorfinn was constantly setting his sights to one day getting revenge by defeating Askeladd. It is a bit questionable how he ends up helping him a whole lot, but nevertheless, his hatred was still somewhere there.
動くな衛兵ども。王は俺の間合いの中だ。
With all that, though, it is natural for fans of the series to start liking the clever Viking, as he's one of those characters who tends to be the smartest in the room. And with many adventures shared with Thorfinn himself, it's hard not to understand why even he warms up to the idea that Askeladd is pretty cool. After all, in a land filled with violent Vikings, death and those who deal in it are a dime a dozen. While we won't completely spoil the story, Askeladd ends up in many moments where he proves to us that you can have a heart, even after murdering and pillaging.
むち打ち県外に踏み込むがごとき行いです。一口に申し上げてウェールズ攻略は割に合いません。
Number 4.
というまだサイマティックスキャンによるセキュリティが実用化される前の施設だ。保安体制は暗証番号か生体認証が関の山。
Reporting in next on our list, we have Psychopaths. In a series about detectives hunting down literal criminals, it would normally be a bit hard to imagine rooting for the villain. But then again, in a world where the Sybil system dictates who is a criminal and who is innocent, it's understandable for some to rebel against such reality. Makishima Shougo is one such rebel. While he does do villainous acts throughout the first season of the series, one cannot deny the underlying logic behind his motivation.
そんなもんで悩む奴がいるなんて考えもしなかったよ。
僕はね、人は自らの意志に基づいて行動した時のみ。
He's also a pretty hot dude, I guess, and always looks smug whenever he's on screen. And to be honest, he probably doesn't need others to root for him, as he always seems one step ahead. His constant head-to-heads with the other hot dude, Kogami, is also always a treat for the eyes, constantly leaving fans in anticipation for their next meeting. Sadly, for the Fujos, all beautiful things must come to an end, unless it's One Piece.
指はすべて第二関節で切断。何らかのセキュリティを突破するのに必要なのかもしれない。防犯設備がサイマティックスキャンではなく、まだ旧式の生体認証に頼っていた頃の。
Number 3.
見つけたぞ、ジンコ。芥川。
Edging further down in our list, we have Bungo Stray Dogs. While this series is filled with villains who turn not so villainous, the main man today is Akutagawa. Clad in a black overcoat, his very style and ability screams villain. But in reality, he's just a young man who was constantly hurt as a boy. He's the other side of the same coin to our MC Atsushi. He has done quite evil things, since he is, after all, a member of the Port Mafia. Given his youthful stature, though, it's hard not to feel bad for him as he clearly just grew up in the wrong litter box.
銃弾の飛来し着弾するまでの空間そのものを食い削った。
As he does team up with Atsushi multiple times in the series, it's obvious he has the makings of being a not-so-evil dude. Though I guess the Port Mafia in general just cares about the city of Yokohama. After all, it's the city in which they live and do business in. But really, all Akutagawa really needs is a big ol' hug and some words of approval from Dazai. And as fans, we can't really help but want to see that for him.
殺すな、芥川。
それは奴ら次第だ。聞け。
Number 2.
新兵諸君、地獄へようこそ。能力主義を標榜する帝国軍です。
Marching up next, we have Saga of Tanya the Evil. Not having any compassion, even as a big boss in the modern world, our MC is brought into an anime version of World War I. Reborn as Tanya, our MC is no saint, bringing over their apathy and non-religiousness even into the battlefield. Then again, with no saints in war, Tanya isn't any more evil than any other participant in war. That being said, she is still quite heartless, not giving a second thought to punishing and even having killed those who don't further the army. And by extension, her own goals. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could anyone root for her? Well, she is the MC, so we don't really have a choice. Watching her form strategic plans and constantly spite the god being X, the anime is just one of those that put you on a ride. And to be fair, it's all quite cool to watch, and she does spend plenty of time hanging out with her squad and not having them killed. And maybe, just maybe, Tanya at least cares about her right-hand woman Victoria. May bombardment not be in her future.
どうした？エビのようにピクピク痙攣して。豚の餌にでもなりたいのか。このウジ虫どもめ。
Number 1.
Bang, 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 bang.
Blasting off in our final entry, we have Inuyashiki. Quite a hidden gem of an anime, this one is no less amazing in its storytelling and characters. One major character is Hiro Shishigami, and although Hiro is in his name, he is the furthest thing from it at the beginning. He is an extremely sociopathic individual, and he does kill just because he can. But it can be said that his newly found cybernetics also played a part in the growth of his more inhuman nature. Despite this, he has a couple of people he's shown genuine care for, and this is seen by how he goes along with Shion Watanabe in an attempt to start doing good.
何百人殺したの ?500 人
獅子神さん、死んでください。私たちのパパとママを殺した獅子神は死んでください。
In my opinion, though he commits many murders throughout, the peak moment where we root for him is after Shion and her grandmother are shot down. Seeing the two people who tried to get him to turn a new leaf lifeless on the floor, even the most moral of fans would be remiss to not scream vengeance. And just like that, Hiro is once again on a path of villainy, up until his final act in the series, where he once again shows the love that he does indeed have deep within.
なんだよお前君
And that is all we have for this episode of Anime Villains We Root For. Thanks for tuning in as always. Remember to subscribe and leave a like and comment down below if you want to see more. And make sure to share this video too if you want to help grow our amazing community. Thanks for watching. Till next time.